Welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast, guys. Before we get started, you know what we got to do. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. And don't forget to ring that bell and join the Noti Squad. 3 in a row, and it feels so good. Grambling State finishes the season perfect after beating the Wisconsin Badgers 42-30 in the national championship. It was a struggle in the first half, but the G-men showed the heart of champions in the second, pulling away and winning the game. Chris King finished his final game as a Tiger with 351 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Chris will be missed next season. He was a true leader in the locker room and on the field and was not afraid of the big moment. On the ground, this is the first time in almost 6 seasons the Tigers didn't have a running back go over 100 yards in a game. Let's start with Pierre Jackson. He was on his way to a dominating game, but went down in the second quarter with a pec issue. He finished with 77 yards. But shout out to Kevin Easley coming in and picking up the slack. He finished with 18 carries for 94 yards and 2 scores. Even the Roadrunner, Eric Rogers, saw some time in the backfield. Out wide, Antonio Walker closed out his All-American season with 8 grabs for 111 yards and a touchdown. He proved this season he is a true number 1 wide out. Bobby Smith had 3 catches, and Jordan Paxson, what can I say, 3 grabs for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the nail in the coffin in the fourth. On defense, the captain, Jason West, led the way with 11 tackles, 4 for loss. Stovall chipped in with 7, and D-tackle Mike Anderson had 2 sacks. We dig deeper into the stats, and this was a true back-and-forth game. Grambling outgained the Badgers 509-398. And the G-men's defense held Wisconsin to 6 of 14 on third down. So that wraps up season 7, but we have to send a big congratulations out to Broderick Fobbs. The head coach is now the owner of the longest win streak in college football history. Right now, the Tigers on a 53-game win streak. Time to take a look at the season 7 All-Americans. Leading the list is Heisman winner Pierre Jackson. You have offensive lineman Otis Allen, and on defense, Torian Ray, Caleb Causey, and Mike Anderson from the D-line, Brandon Gitt and Jason West at linebacker, Brent Stovall, Rayshawn Baker, freshman Travis Haley, and strong safety Robert Clemens from the secondary. Our punter, Michael Baker, and returner is Eric Rogers. On the second team, right tackle Marcus Berry and corner Ken Johnson. A few Grambling State Tigers made freshman All-Americans. Running back Pierre Jackson, wide out Will Carter, tight end Tim Clark, guard Nick Walton, right tackle Jarrett Lee, D-end Dan Bird, free safety Travis Haley, and kicker Ryan Davis. Taking a look at the season stats, what a year for Chris King. The senior quarterback completed 74% of his passes, throwing for 4,032 yards, 47 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. Once King was handed the keys to the offense, he showed what he can do, throwing 100 touchdowns in 2 seasons. But here's a question for you guys. Are you taking Phil Austin or Chris King? On the ground, freshman Pierre Jackson had an amazing first year, 276 yards, 1,952 yards, and 26 touchdowns. When we recruited him, we knew we had something special, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. Kevin Easley had a great junior year as well, 107 carries for 848 yards and 16 scores. Kev showed his speed and wiggle ability this year and the ability to come out of the backfield and make catches. Out wide, the receiving group was something special. Led by Antonio Walker, he had 81 catches for 1,203 yards and 14 touchdowns. After the departure of Sean Edwards, Walker proved he was the true number 1 wideout. Jordan Paxson finished his senior campaign with 73 grabs for 1,144 yards and 15 touchdowns. Paxson, a 4-year starter, was a true leader for this team. He got better each year on campus, and we expect big things next year from him in the league. Bobby Smith was wideout number 2, and he had a great first year, 46 grabs for 685 yards and 8 touchdowns. Freshman tight end Tim Clark had a solid year, 41 grabs for 502 yards and 4 touchdowns. I would like to see him work on his hands this offseason, though. Will Carter had 24 grabs and 4 touchdowns. Kevin Easley had 23 grabs. And Mike Harper, he had 9 catches and 2 touchdowns. On defense, the G-Men were a bend but don't break group, but were loaded at each level. Robert Clemens led the team in tackles with 75. Back-to-back linebacker of the year, Jason West was second on the team with 72. In the sack department, Torian Ray finished with 18 sacks. He was a terror on the D-line, and his motor will be missed. CC, Caleb Causey, had his breakout season with 15 sacks. If he decides to come back for his senior campaign, this will be his group, and he could go after the school record in sacks. Another guy who had a great year was D-tackle Mike Anderson. We moved him inside to play the 3 technique, and he shined. And shout out to Dan Bird and his 4 sacks his freshman year. In the secondary, Kenneth Johnson led the team with 5 interceptions. He was a solid slot corner. Now he'll get a chance to start next season. Rayshawn Baker was second on the team with 4. Ray Bake was a 4-year starter for the G-Men, a true leader on the field, and he will be missed big time. But Brent Stovall is ready to become cornerback number 1. He was the Jim Thorpe Award winner this year, and teams were scared to test him. If he decides to come back, we're expecting big things from him. Shout out to Jason West. He had 3 picks this year, and freshman Travis Haley had 2. On special teams, Eric Rogers showed why he's the most explosive player in the country. Every time he touched the ball, he had a legit chance to take it back to the house. He finished with 1,820 yards on kickoffs and 4 touchdowns and 779 yards and 2 scores on punt returns. Not to mention, he had 2 kick sixes this year. The Roadrunner has 2 more years on campus, and we're excited to see what he can do. So that's going to wrap it up for Season 7, and head coach Broderick Fobbs has agreed to a 6-year extension with the Tigers, and as you can see, the past 4 years has been dominant for the G-Men. As we kick off the offseason, Grambling will be welcoming 2 new coordinators to the team. Lane Kiffin is out and Bill Bedenbaugh is in. He's the former head coach of North Carolina. And our D coordinator is out, and we welcome Derek Mason in as our new D coordinator. He was the head coach at Vanderbilt. Now this part makes me nervous. Players leaving. We do have some juniors that could declare early, but nobody is going anywhere. We do have a guard transferring to Southern University, but all of our juniors are back for their senior campaign. And here are the Season 7 draft results. Rayshawn Baker goes in the first round. Torian Ray and Jason West are second rounders. Chris King is taken in the third round, which I think is a steal. Otis Allen is a 5th rounder, and Robert Clemens is a 6th rounder. Shockingly, Jordan Paxson goes undrafted. To the recruiting board we go. We have 3 players left, and they all can be impact players down the road. Starting off with tight end Sheldon Hicks, but we are trailing behind Michigan and Colorado. Then there's guard Gavin Jackson, and we're trailing behind USC. And DN Bryant Clark, GSU has the lead over Ohio State. And here's a look at how we spread out the 15,000 points. All 3 are must-gets, but Sheldon Hicks could be one of those players that we talk about for seasons to come. And Grambling State lands all 3, giving the Tigers the number 1 recruiting class in the country. Before we jump into training, we have some change of positions. We even out the depth chart at guard and tackle. Nick Walton will be the projected starter going into Season 8 at right guard. Caleb Causey moves to the left end, and sophomore Dan Bird moves to the right side. 3 of our freshman DNs move to the inside at D tackle, Sapp, Coker, and Walker. Craig Manning, who played outside linebacker last season, will be moved back to his normal position at free safety. And Antoine Nugent moves to strong safety. We did have some athletes this year. Craig Dunn joins the running back room, while Lee King moves to the wide receivers room. Joe Bell moves to free safety. Shane Miller will add depth to the O-line. And Nick Coleman is headed to the running back room. Now let's see who put in work in the offseason. And right off the bat, our team is looking stacked. Starting at QB, Cody Walker gets a +5 in his sophomore campaign, moving him up to a 92 overall. In the backfield, Kevin Easley is a 91 overall. Pierre Jackson is an 86 overall. And redshirt freshman speedster Eldon O'Connor is an 86 overall. Out wide, we have 3 wideouts that are 90+. Walker and Smith are going to be a problem next season. At tight end, Newsome and Clark both get a +4. And on the O-line, Murphy gets a +4. Guard Marcus Harris gets a +4. Center Joseph Clayton, he gets a +5. Guard Nick Walton gets a +5. And senior tackle Marcus Berry gets a +4. On defense, Caleb Causey gets a +5. It is a 97 overall. Nick Sellers gets a +4. So did Dan Bird. And Marcus Freeman, he gets a +5. This year we are deep at D tackle. Anderson, Henderson, Brooks, and Davis all got a +5. Outside linebacker Ashton Hall gets a +4. Brandon Ginn got a +4 for his senior campaign. And Eric Sellers gets a +5 in his sophomore season. At corner, our secondary is going to be scary. Stovall and Johnson both get a +4. The Roadrunner, Eric Rogers, he gets a +5. Benson gets a +4. And Wilkinson gets a +5. We are 5 deep at quarter this season, and the coverage ability on all 5 are crazy. At free safety, Travis Haley gets a +5 and will start this year, and Antoine Nugent gets a +5 at strong safety. We did get some news this week. Junior QB Matt Jones has decided to put his name in the transfer portal and will be available to play next season. Same can be said for senior linebacker Chris Patrick. So that's going to wrap it up for the offseason. This team is looking ready for another championship run. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Coming up, we have the Black and Gold Spring Game, plus a look at the Season 8 recruiting class, and get ready for Death Schedule 2.0. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new, and hit those links down in my description. And follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Big C Gat Game. And we'll talk from the spring game. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.